people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 913, 913. That's my birthday, 913, September 13th. This is episode 913, 913 of the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm here with somebody. I assume Hoolie's here somewhere. I don't see her in the waiting room, but I assume she's here. How's everybody? How was your weekend? What did you do? Anything fun? I spent all of... Oh, there's Skyla. Hello, Skyla. I spent all of yesterday morning at the St. Genevieve Detention Center in mid-central Missouri, eastern. And I am back. I came back, watched a little Jets football. Of course, despite blocking a field goal and scoring with a minute and a half left, taking the lead, they still lost. So that's what the Jets do. I'll be here for the next hour and a half trying to answer your immigration law-related questions. Let me know something fun you did. Let me know something good in your neck of the woods. We're going to get started with the show. I'll be here for an hour and a half trying to answer as many immigration law-related questions as I can on TikTok and on YouTube. I see Navi, Cam, Beth, and R.A. So let's start with Navi. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, sir. I'm back again. We speak before. I just want your thoughts on NVC public inquiry. If someone waiting on a 10-month on their immigrant visa, should they go ahead and do the inquiry? Is this worth it? Do they care? I mean, if you do put the inquiry.
There's no downside to doing the inquiry, so you don't have to be worried about doing an inquiry, except for the fact that you might be wasting your time. Other than that, go right ahead.
Okay. Do you think like I should do it or my congressman? Should I have my congressman do it?
Both.
Both? Okay. In the same time?
Sure.
Okay, sir. The last question is, my asylum case was terminated after I was documentary qualified. So for that, when I go to my interview, what kind of document do I need to show the officer there? Like, I all I have the EOIR is said terminated my case. That's all I have. So do you think I just print that and take with me, or do I need additional documents?
I would bring my entire immigration court file with me.
Okay, include the administration closure, the case before,
Bring everything.
then bring everything. Okay. Do I have to upload that before I go? Because my lawyer said we cannot upload anything.
Nope.
Okay, and that's it, sir. Thank you.
Bye, Navi. Good luck.
Yeah.
Cam, hello. Cam, are you there? You're on mute. Cam, hello. So Cam's having some microphone problems. We'll go to Beth. Hello, Beth.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I have a very delicate case, and I know this for decades now. But of course, with the new laws, and I have been very, depressed and trying to figure out what to do. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to talk.
Okay, well, let's take a deep breath, and then I'll just ask you some questions, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay.
Let's take a deep breath. I'll tell you what. I'll come right back to you, Beth. I'm going to go to someone else, and then I'll come back, and then I'll just ask you all about your case. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Be right back. All right, AJ. Hello.
Hey, Jim. How are you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
I could be better. I have a complicated case. I'm a U.S. citizen. I have a fiance who had her visa refused a month ago. She had her visa interview for a K-1 visa 40 days ago, and they suspect we are married. And, we had an engagement ceremony and we had some spiritual rituals. And essentially, they saw a necklace on her that indicates marriage. But in our specific culture, that's not the necklace someone would wear after they get married. So they didn't really go into too much detail during the interview on whether we had what kind of ceremonies we had. But ultimately, they gave us a 221G and said our file is incomplete, and they will reach out if they have any other questions. So they refused the visa there. We're still in administrative processing. We've talked to 3 lawyers on what to do here. My worry is we're getting a fraud mark on our case because they feel we're misrepresenting. I want to do whatever is going to minimize the chance of a fraud mark. One lawyer said, don't do anything. They haven't asked you for anything right now. One lawyer said, try to explain your situation. We sent them an email telling them a little bit about what this necklace signifies, but we got no response. We got no response. So we're not really sure what to do now. We're not sure if we should just wait until they reach out to us. We're not sure if we should cancel this visa, get legally married, and apply for a CR1. Or we're not sure whether we should, be sharing in pictures of the ceremonies we had and, try to tell them we're not hiding anything here.
What country?
It's India.
And what does a necklace generally, what do most people think the necklace
marriage
demonstrate? Okay, why? Walk me through it.
It's a beaded necklace. It's a beaded necklace. So generally in some part in northern India, this is what they wear after they get married. In South India, there's a slightly different necklace. But the interview was in Mumbai. So I think their perspective is, this is what everyone in North India wears when they're married. We did have spiritual ceremonies. We did have a big ceremony. So we're not legally married. We didn't register anywhere. We didn't do some key aspects of a South Indian marriage. So we don't believe we're married, but we're just worried. We're facing misrepresentation charges here, and we're trying to see how we can avoid that.
Did the officer discuss the photo or the marital status with your spouse at their fiance interview?
She's my fiance, not my spouse.
Right.
Yes, he asked what this necklace was, and she said it was just a necklace. It's not what he thinks it is.
I guess what I'm saying is, did they push back and say, "Are you guys married?"
Yes, they asked if we're married. We said no. because we're not legally married.
Okay, so they did ask your fiance if you were married,
Yes.
and you didn't record the marriage, but like you had a big ceremony with lots of people.
Hmm.
If you weren't an American citizen but were a citizen of India, and this ceremony had occurred, could your fiance have come and lived with you and all that stuff?
Yes, she has no other marks on her record. She doesn't even have any parking tickets.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is put immigration to the side.
Okay.
In southern India, when people have a ceremony like you had, do people consider it to be a marriage or an engagement?
Yeah, I think you can consider it a marriage.
Yeah, so you're screwed, dude. So you need to start over. I would write them an email outlining how this wasn't a legal marriage and it shouldn't have been placed in 221G. But then given the fact that they are considering it to be a marriage, you're going to go over and get married and start over.
So what should we submit in this email? What was it a good idea to submit pictures of this, or do we just say we're canceling this and getting legally married?
I think what I would do, I mean, one, I think you probably need a lawyer from here on out. Two, I think you need to go get married, file a new I-130, and then withdraw the I-129F and say, look, we weren't married, but we don't want to mess around with this. We went ahead and got legally married. We are withdrawing our fiance case, and we're starting over with an I-130 petition. And then
Is it possible to withdraw the fiance case before that? Because it's going to take some time to go to India and get married. I just want to make sure they're not going to. I want to do that as soon as possible. I want to make sure they're not going to put a fraud mark. So I want to.
You can't control whether they're going to put a fraud mark. And I've had this case probably 10 times, and what we've always done is just gone ahead and got married, file a new one, and then notify them that you want to withdraw the old one. I think running away now and withdrawing the old one without an explanation is worse than just letting it sit there.
Okay. So, and how do we get we're not really getting responses from them. We sent them an email.
You probably never will, which is another reason to start over. Just start over, get married, do the marriage-based I-130, and then notify them that you're withdrawing it. They'll probably never confirm that it's been withdrawn.
Okay. And you said you're screwed. Are you saying that because you think there's a fraud mark?
No, I don't think you're the fraud mark, but I think the fiance case is over, and I think you played it too cute.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with the fiance case being over. I'm really worried about a permanent ban.
Nah, no, I don't think they're going to say it's a misrep. I think that in my experience, unless things have changed.
Because let me tell you one more thing. They asked once, did you have a wedding ceremony? Fiance said no, because it was not a legal wedding ceremony. We truly did not believe under the eyes of immigration this was a wedding ceremony.
Well, again, but my question to you was, if you were living in India and immigration weren't involved, would most people consider this a marriage? And I think you got too cute with, was it a legal marriage because we didn't record that shit? That's what I'm saying. But what I was about to say was, in my experience, in every case I've ever seen like this, including cases I've handled and cases that I haven't handled, that there's sort of a form of rough justice. And they say, well, you tried to be a little bit sneaky. We didn't give you the fiance visa. You had to wait an extra 2 years to get your spouse here from India. So I have never seen them try to knock someone with a fraud or misrep determination. It's always just been, you got to start over and do your time waiting again. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I can go to India in 2 weeks and get married. Is there anything your firm can do to support us here? We will do that, but we want to make sure we do things the right way, very cautiously from here on out.
And you have to, because when you get to the DS-260, they're going to ask if you ever committed any kind of fraud or anything, and you're going to need an explanation as to why this wasn't fraud. And the I-130 will get approved once you're married, but then the trick will be dealing with the embassy in Mumbai and the National Visa Center. So you are going to need lawyers to advocate for you, to document why you're withdrawing the case, to argue
Okay.
that you weren't legally married, at least to your understanding, and that your wife wasn't trying to commit some kind of a misrepresentation.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Do you recommend doing anything between now and me going to India to get married? Should we
Nope.
talk to you? Should we have any lawyers on retainer?
I would say, yeah, I would schedule a meeting with one of our intake attorneys and your fiance and you. Yeah, absolutely. Before you go, sure.
Okay, and you.
That could
Sorry,
even that could even be me, but it has to be on Thursday or Friday.
yeah, that's fine. And sorry if it seems like I'm asking repetitive questions. You think the chance of misrepresentation here is low? To be
I mean, there is a new sheriff in town, so there's that. But what I'm saying is, I have literally handled 10 of these cases, and I've seen probably another 20. And every single time that I've seen, they haven't hit the people with a misrep unless it was really, really overt and really easily to prove. And I think yours is probably a closer call. So I think you should be fine.
Can I just ask what do you mean over? What were those cases like?
They had kids. They lived together as husband and wife, but they said they weren't married.
Okay, yeah, we're nowhere like that. Okay, appreciate your time, Jim. I will definitely reach out to an intake manager. I would love to have you on retainer here.
Awesome. Thanks, AJ.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye, buddy. All right. That was AJ. Let's go back to Beth. Hello, Beth.
Hi, Jim. I think I'm more composed now.
All good. So where are you from, Beth?
I'm originally from Brazil.
When did you come to the United States?
I came in 1998,
What kind of a visa did you have when you came in 1998?
tourist visa.
And you didn't leave after 6 months?
No, I did not. And I got married in 2000
Okay.
with a U.S. citizen, and I got my green card.
Okay.
I got married 4 months after I met my ex, and after I got married, he knew that I wanted to bring my children. They were in Brazil. But after I got married, he started saying like, oh, I'm not going to sign your papers now. I'm going to wait 1 year to see if you're not just trying to get papers from me. And that was very difficult because my kids were suffering in Brazil and I could do anything. I just wait. In 3 months, he signed up for my children. He said, I'm going to bring your children, but I'm not going to give you papers now. But then eventually, in 6 month marriage, he signed for me. I got my green card. But at this point, my ex-husband was already a very violent man. He was abusive, like physically and mentally. He took me to renew my license because I had my license before I get my documents. So after I got my documents, he said, let's go there. You need to enter your real social because I got without a social security. And then he signed me up to vote. And then he took me to vote.
Huh.
I didn't have English. I was not myself. I was like, in depression. I was under medication. I was just doing whatever he asked me to do in order to get my papers, to be honest with you. And then, of course, when I learned, like not too long after I voted, I learned that I could not vote. So I came home and confronted him. Then he said, if you couldn't vote, you didn't vote. And was that argument. So eventually I found a lawyer who I could communicate. And he said, well, now you can never be American citizen because of this crime you committed. And I was like, I went to Motovac and asked them to remove my name, but I don't think Motovac was the right place to go, but I didn't know any better. And my ex-husband was doing nothing to help me. He could care less if I was in danger. When came time to renew my second green card, he took forever to sign. And then when he finally submitted the application, they took forever to answer. And he was abusing my boys. So we had to leave this house. We left the house. And then the immigration contacted me and I said, well, I already divorced. They said, well, I'll send the divorce paper. So I tried to reach out the lawyer. I couldn't. So I submit the application and I got in deportation. The application, I submit the certification, the divorce certification. They put me on deportation, but eventually I fixed it with a lawyer and I got my 10 years green card. And I have been renewing my 10 years green card, knowing that I carry this crime that I was not aware that I was committing a crime. Um, and of course, it has been heavy on me carrying this situation. I never had a problem. I have left the country many times, but it's getting so difficult to live with this burden. Like it's a crime that I commit, but it was not my fault. Honestly, it was not my fault, and it's just you just want your opinion on this.
So I agree. You can't ever apply for citizenship. And
But do you
certainly,
think?
certainly not now.
Uh-huh. My ex-husband admit that he took me to vote. He claimed he didn't know, so I only have the option to believe him. And I asked him to write an affidavit that he did it, that I was doing everything he was telling me, and he doesn't want to do it because he's afraid that he's going to be persecuted.
It's no good. It wouldn't help at all.
It would not help, right?
Right. You can't unring that bell. You can't undo it. It's a deportable offense. You can't ever apply for citizenship. And I don't know if it's on the I-90 now. Hopefully it's not. When is the next time you have to renew your 10-year green card?
2028.
So hopefully Trump will be gone by then. And
my other question is, do I qualify for I was under medication, like depression medication. I was doing treatment. Do I qualify for mentally incapable? Because sometimes some medication leaves me mentally incapable. Of my biggest problem was the language, but because I was under so many medication for depression, I was like suicidal. I was very in a dark place, and I'm trying to get my record because I had a psychologist who threatened me that he would call the police and report my ex-husband because I would tell her that he was abusing me. And then I was like, oh, don't do it. I'm not going to tell you anything because if I leave his house, he's going to cancel my green card and I need it. So it was very difficult marriage.
So when I went to law school, my first class I ever took was torts, and that's all about people injuring each other. And there's concepts in there like negligence, which means I sort of made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's something called strict liability, where if you do this, it doesn't matter what your intent was. It doesn't matter if you had psychological problems. It doesn't matter if somebody told you to do this. It doesn't matter if you thought you were doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
The simple act of doing it is all that it takes. And when the new rules about false claims to citizenship came out about a month ago, they made it very clear that it's strict liability, and that any of those reasons that you just gave me
Mm-hmm.
for why you registered to vote and voted means that they will never forgive it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have been speaking with lawyers for years, and they say, oh, it's not a good time, it's not a good time. But it's looked like Trump just made it more difficult now.
Yeah, it probably, I mean, no good immigration lawyer would have told you under Joe Biden to go ahead and apply for citizenship. But yeah, it's gotten worse. Yeah, but still when I was a brand new immigration attorney in 2007, I volunteered. We do this, the American Immigration Lawyers Association does a citizenship day, and I've told this story before. We had been there all day from like 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. At 3:55 p.m., everybody had left except the lawyers were still there. So it literally was every immigration lawyer in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And this old African-American fellow walked in, and he told a very similar story to yours, other than the fact that he had a bad husband or something. But he had registered to vote and voted.
Mm-hmm.
And every immigration lawyer sitting around that room, and every immigration lawyer that you've talked to, and that includes me, says that you can't apply for citizenship because it's a deportable offense. So
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but you're not going to become a citizen.
Okay. And I should not, even if my green card expired while Trump there, should I stay, not renew my green card right away?
Well, you said 2028, right?
Yeah.
So he should be gone. Well, I guess, yeah, right there at the end. Yeah, what I would say is in 2028, we'll have to look at the form, the I-90, and see if it asks if you've ever made a false claim to citizenship. I think it probably will, but you don't have to worry about that for
in the website, the memorandum says like if there is a box you check was a citizenship question.
Yeah.
I request motor vehicle my application, and there was not a question if I was a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. but-
Nobody never asked me if I was a U.S. citizen.
all right. Well, good luck, Beth.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That sucks. It's hard to believe how bad people treat each other. Sounds like she had a lot of negative energy around her and negative husband. January 2029. Thank you, Glenn. I need to get my countdown clock going. Rosie, hello.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Rosie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Well, just want to say thank you for doing this. Uh, been a fan, been watching for a long time. So,
Thank you.
yep. So I want to go ahead and ask you this. My case is a little more complicated, so it's a long story, but hear me out. So I entered the United States in 2008 on a B2 visitor visa. I was 10 years old at this time. I was intended to attend an English language camp kind of thing, which I did actually went to. After that, I never left the country. So, at this time, I was staying with one of my uncle because my parents were actually not in our home country. My biological parents were overseas, in another country. I was a child of gender favorism. So being a born a girl was not, something that I could choose, but it played into the factor. So after that, my aunt and uncle decided, to put me in school. And they just, one day they just asked me, like, do you want to stay with our family? So essentially, they were asking if I want to be adopted by them. So I say, yes, I want to go ahead and stay with this family because they treated me very, very well. So we filed for the adoption in 2011, so 3 years later. And then the adoption finalized in 2013. And then they filed for my I-130 and 485 in 2015. That case went on forever. And we got the result we didn't get the result until 2022. So it literally went on forever. I got married. I know my husband since 21. We dated for over a year.
Wait, before what happened? You told us you got the decision, but you never told us what it was.
Yeah, they were basically saying that, because I attended public school, and all of that. So they say that basically they said I was willful misrepresentation, that I did not attend a youth camp, which I actually sent a record because they didn't start asking for, RFE until like 2022. So this is like over 10 years. Well, yeah, over 10 years. So the only thing that the school had was just like a very generic record of the dates that I attended and all that. And so I submitted it for the RFE or the NOID. And then they responded with a denial because they said that I did not attend the English camp, that, I misrepresent my intention of entry.
Okay.
And that the adoption was only for immigration benefits.
Yeah, that plan was never going to work. That was it was never going to work. Who told you to do that?
I didn't know. I mean, I entered at 10 years old. So I honestly did not know any of these.
Whose idea was it to file an adoption? I mean, your parents are still alive, right?
Yeah.
So did they have a lawyer that helped them with this?
They did. They actually consulted a lawyer, but the intention was adoption was truly for adoption. It wasn't for.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This was never going to work. So did a lawyer sign the applications, the I-130? Did a lawyer file it, or did they just talk to a lawyer and then do it on their own?
No. They had a lawyer the entire time.
It was never going to work. That was bad advice.
I had no, but well, I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
how that process was.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, I literally, I was still barely a teenager, if anything. And
Okay.
so they were just like, one day they just asked, like, hey, do you want to stay with us? Because, I have been living under gender favorism the entire time. So, I mean, like, yeah, you treat me well, I'm just going to stay with you. That
But
was my
that has
mentality.
nothing to do with immigration.
Right. So, but let me go ahead and move on
Go ahead.
from that.
Yep.
So in 2021, I met my now husband. We dated for about a year and a half, and then we got married. And then I got the denial, and he was like, "Well, if that case, can we file through marriage?" And I say, I guess." And so we filed through marriage. We had a different lawyer this time. And she said, you can go ahead and file, but I don't know if the misrepresentation is gonna, it's definitely gonna affect the filing of this case. And I say, well, I don't know what to do. And she said, well, let's go ahead and file. And then she's gonna, put in letters of explaining and all that. So we went to the interview. The I-130 was approved. In 2024, in March of 2024, the I-130 was approved. Later on that year, of course, 4 months later, they called us in for another interview for the I-485. And so the officer went thoroughly, like, asking all the questions why I was adopted and everything like that. And then I presented to him, the record of the B2, and I said, like, I actually did attend this camp thing right here. And he said to just go ahead and wait for the medical update, which he sent a note out later on, and he said, well, you never changed your status from B1 to B2 to F1, basically, and you were still attending school without changing your status. And so he denied us. So we refile for the 485 at the beginning of this year, and then we went to the interview for the third time.
Okay.
But I don't know, Jim, if there's a chance that it will be approved.
Well, so let's talk about it. So on the 485,
Mm-hmm.
there's questions about, have you ever filed, or have you ever, given any information to the government that was false, fraudulent, or misleading in order to get an immigration benefit? Did you put yes on that or no on that?
I put no. Well, the lawyer filed my thing, but I no.
And so the basis of the denial, the 485 denial, based on the I-130 that your spouse was because you didn't get an F1 and kept going to school. That's not a basis for a denial.
Yeah. So he sent out a note, right? And he said, submit the record that you actually. Well, he said that it's so funny. I think about it because this is exactly what he said. The program that you told us that you attended sounds like a scam.
Oh, well, is that true?
No, because I actually was able to get the director of the program to write a letter saying, like, she legitimately attend a legitimate program.
You're talking about the original program you came on your B1, B2 for, or something you
Yeah.
later?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I never changed my status. I just attended school because, my now parents just put me through school. So that's what I knew.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with an F1. There's no, I mean, there are tons of undocumented kids going to school every day. The fact that they didn't have an F1 isn't. I'd like to see that denial if you want to send it to me.
Sure. Where do you want me to send it to?
Send to info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com and I'll
Okay.
take a look at it. Okay.
Yeah, I can send it, but my question then is, like, because we also explained to the newest officer for the third time filing. We also explained to him, like, I was very young, like I did not have any intent to misrepresent anything. So, do you think there is still a chance of that happening, Jim?
I don't know. I'd want to see. I'd want to see the prior denial. So you've had an interview on the second 45 that you filed based on your approved I-130.
Yes,
And how did that go?
it went well. I mean, so the first interview we went in, we got approved for 130 on the spot.
Yeah.
So and then
They're not disputing that your current marriage is valid. They're just hanging their head on you're not admissible as a green card holder because of some prior fraud.
right, and then the weird thing was they never interview us for our first time filing with my adopted parents ever.
Yeah, that's okay. It's because it wasn't approvable. What country are you from?
Vietnam.
What field office did your interview?
The first one was in Nashville, but the second time for the spousal was in Minnesota.
Because you live there?
I moved there, yeah.
And when was that 45 interview, roughly?
The newest one?
Uh-huh.
That was in July.
Okay. And did you have a lawyer for that?
Yes, the same lawyer that has been doing our spousal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would approve it, but I'm a nice guy. You know, they're looking for reasons to say no.
Yes.
I think-
And the interview was like less than 10 minutes, honestly. He was just asking me to verify my names, and I told him, I was like, well, the reason why I have different last names were because I was adopted and all that. So he actually had the entire file of me, and of course we requested a FOIA too, but he got the entire files of my case with immigration I guess ever since I got involved with it on top of his desk. Yeah.
Send me the FOIA too, and then I'll share my thoughts.
Let me see if I can obtain the FOIA because it was on like a client portal and it's too big for me to download.
Okay, well, whatever. I need to see it. Thanks for the call, Rosie.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. My people, how many times have we talked about made-up adoptions? Adoptions not because someone is truly an orphan, adoptions not because somebody's parents are gone, but because they want to get some kind of immigration benefit for the adoptee. Never going to work. Never going to work, especially nowadays. Never going to work. Made that lady's immigration history that much harder, made them that much more suspicious of everything she filed legitimately after the fact, and it's hovering over her like a cloud wherever she goes. She has an approved I-130, a real marriage to a U.S. citizen, but because of this dumb scheme, they think she's a fraudster. Hey, Jim, is there any update on DV lottery applications? No, I don't have any updates on that. If my wife gets deported and the children happen to be left behind, what are the steps to secure them? Well, they would always allow the spouse to send for the kids or have them come. Otherwise, you need to get a legal guardian, and have someone appointed to take care of them. Can you do a rundown of marriage-based green card? I just did. Check out my YouTube channel. I just did the 5 things you need to think about for a green card in 2025. It was about 3 videos ago. All right. Isn't it great Skyla's here? I love saying Skyla. That's how Hooli says it. Skyla. Sort of like Bush says China. Skyla. We love Skyla. She's the best. Green card. Hello.
Hello, Jim. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is me calling to say thank you for all you do because I've been following your program since I started my immigration journey. I started out in May of this year. That was when I filed with my wife. I am from Nigeria. So I got my green card in August.
Nice.
Yes. So I really took a lot of I had a lawyer actually, but I was watching your program the whole time and I was taking all the tips. I was also learning from the experiences of all the callers. So I didn't even need to call because at some point you would always have someone who had something similar to you. So it was really helpful. So I'm calling to say thank you. If you want me to give you a brief of my timeline, I will.
I'd love it. That'd be great.
Okay. So I came first in 2022 with my dad. My sister lives here, so we came on a visit, and after 4 or 5 months, we went back. And I came back again like a couple months later because I had like a 2-year green card. So I'm like the last born, so I didn't have anyone else in the house. It was just me and my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I came back a couple more times, and then I stayed back. And then I met my now wife. We courted for close to a year, and we got married in March, actually. I'm sorry. And then
March
we
of what?
March of 2025.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We got married in March, and we filed and submitted the whole thing in May. I remember May 8th. That was when we got like the receipt notice.
Yeah.
So everything just started happening so quickly, Jim. It was so scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so scary, you know. Next I was scheduled for the biometrics, like I think a couple of weeks later. And we went, that was good. We were gathering up evidences. She added me to her lease. Soon as we got married, we opened a bank account together. Her pay stub was her paycheck was going into the account. Me, I wasn't getting like a pay stub. So but I used to put money in there as well. So every bill was coming out of the
Mm,
account.
good.
We had our insurance as well together. And a couple family photos. My dad also came, and he wasn't at the wedding, but he came after the wedding because it was cold then. So he came, she's seen my family. So we have photos, everything. So but the whole thing was happening so fast and I was getting scared. So in June I went for the biometrics. And then like in July I got the notice for the interview in August 14th. And I was really scared, Jim, because I was thinking, okay, we'll have more time to gather more evidences and more stuff. Because apart from the things I mentioned, there was nothing. So, but good thing, while we got that notice, I also found out my wife was pregnant.
Nice.
So that was some good news. Um, so, but yeah, the interview came, we went, my lawyer was there. So we were scheduled to be our time was 8:35. So, but my lawyer also had another client who was scheduled in for 8:05. So this is what happened. We got there. I saw the lawyer and the other clients. They were there waiting to go in. It was like at 8:20. That was when they were called in. And then I was thinking to myself, okay, since they're going in at 8:20, mine is probably going to also delay. You understand? Um, but that wasn't what happened, Jim. As soon as it was 8:35, I was called in and I was scared. And my lawyer had told me, if they call you, tell them you want to wait for your attorney.
Yeah.
But that is also risky because one of the things you said in your videos is you don't want to you don't want to make them mad.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be the reason why maybe ruining his schedule for the day that morning. I'm probably going to get it tough. So my wife and I decided we were just going. So we went in. It was good. It lasted like 20 minutes. Couple days before, I had already uploaded everything. Like you said in your videos,
Yeah.
and that really made it easier. All the documents I had, I didn't even have to bring out any copy of anything. The only thing he asked for was the IDs. That was the only thing he had to scan, and he mentioned that the printer was, acting up, and he had said something like that. So imagine having to scan everything that we came with. So,
Yeah.
but I had already done everything. So he just had every information on the computer. So it was just few questions. But this is also one thing he did, Jim. While he was asking me the security questions, you know how long they can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He will also put in some of the marriage questions in between.
Interesting.
Yes. So he did that to me like twice. And you know how the security questions can be, you just be like, no, 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 no. You
Yeah.
be caught in the line of saying no, no, no. And then he
Right.
just sneaked in one.
Are you really married? No.
Yeah, you something like that, exactly. So like he was using it to like catch me off guard. But that was pretty much it. We were almost done before our attorney came in, and I-130 was approved the next morning, and then just exactly a week after, the green card was approved, and I got it in the mail like 2 weeks after.
That's
So
fantastic. So
yeah,
they didn't separate you.
no, they didn't. They didn't separate us.
No prior marriages.
No prior marriages.
Good. No overstays.
I overstayed. And I worked without authorization.
Oh, good. Wow.
Yeah, and he asked me, we all always say, you have to tell them you walked without authorization, you
Yeah.
overstayed.
Yeah.
But one thing I wasn't ready for was the next question that followed. Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
so
started asking people. I've started asking people, why did you overstay? But that's a good one too. Why did you start working without authorization?
yes, I wasn't prepared for that. So when he was asking, I was like, then he said, why?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh. So I was living with my sister when I
I
came.
needed some money and I didn't want to rob a bank.
I told him I was living with my sister. I had to support, and he was like, "Okay, that's fine."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he asked why, and that was pretty much it.
That's great. So just to be clear, you never got your work card, right?
I did. I got my work card, but I haven't even gotten my social security till now. I didn't know that you have to go to the office now. It
When
was
in
on your.
when in that timeline did you get your work card?
It came in June. Like I said, everything was happening so fast. It came. I went for the biometrics, and the work card came like a week after. Yeah.
Well, I'm very, very happy for you. Thank you so much for calling and giving us the good news. Make sure to keep watching. I appreciate it.
Yes, I really am watching every. I even remember even the stories from the people. Some who call like 3 times. I remember like the
Oh, I
previous
don't know.
story. I'm like, this is this guy. Some call and be like, "Hey Jim, do you remember me?" I'm like, "I remember you."
Yeah, people in the comments always remember. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that guy. All right, have
yeah.
a great day.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Yep. Congrats. Oh, we love those kinds of calls. Love those kinds of calls. I think he had an experienced officer. Sounded like the officer knew how to work a room and work the interview. I like that trick of interspersing I-130 questions with 45 questions. That's a good one. And the fact that they approved it quickly demonstrates that it was probably a supervisor. So that's great. Happy for them. Happy for them. All right. There's a question. Yeah, Juan said that was very helpful. Yeah. Blessings asked, do we take cases in New York? We sure do. We can handle cases in all 50 states because immigration is federal. Well, that was a great call. All right, let's go to BY and then to RA. Hello, BY.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Excellent. So yeah, I'm a big fan of your videos, and I've been watching them, and thank you for all of that. Well, I just have a quick question. I am an immigrant from Mexico. I currently have DACA. I've had DACA for over 10 years or so, right? It has never expired, nothing like that. I married my wife, who is a U.S. citizen. We got married on October of last year, and then we applied for the adjustment of status, right?
Okay.
Everything went well, right? And however, we decided to withdraw our application just to work on our marriage, right? The last thing that I want to happen is that, we get married, then, I get the immigration benefit, and then we get divorced. I feel like, that would be a huge, huge red flag, and it could be interpreted as fraud. So I was like, hey, you know what? Let's work on our marriage. Let's take some counseling and so forth, right? So anyhow, so that's where we are right now. My concern is that since we withdrew our application, we got the letter indicating that our application was denied because it was withdrew. And on that same letter from USCIS, the letter indicated that it had that wording that it had like 33 days to leave the country, right? And you recently made a video on that, right? Saying, that, you know what, sometimes it could be a mistake, right? So anyhow, so that got me a little bit worried, right? And on the same day that I got that letter from USCIS, saying that I had to leave the country. I also got an email from USCIS saying that I have an appointment in their office, right, at the local office. So anyhow, so I got a little bit worried, right? So then I called I called the national USCIS office, right, to ask them, hey, what's the purpose of the appointment, right? So whenever I called them, the phone representative told me that they did not know what the appointment was for, and it was something that the local office created, right? So I ended up going to the appointment in the local office, and and I was concerned, right? Because I was concerned that I was going to be detained. But fortunately, that did not happen. I showed up there to the appointment with the letter, and the I was able to speak with an officer, and the officer told me, "Hey, I have no idea what this is about." They got the supervisor. The supervisor told me the exact same things, like, "Hey, I have no idea what this is about," right? Like, so anyhow, so we just left the office, right? So my question is that, and by the way, my DACA expires in 2026, right? Um, should I be concerned in regards to that letter that I got from USCIS saying that I have 33 days to leave the country? Like, would my name theoretically be put on, like, in a deportation list or something similar to that?
When did you enter the United States?
Oh, I entered the United States back in 2006 or so,
And you're
as a child.
you're on DACA right now?
Yes, yes, I have had DACA since actually it came out back in since 2012,
So
and it has mhm.
your theory is that when they sent you that form letter about withdrawing and thereby denying your I-130 and 485, that that they ignored the fact that you had DACA and telling you that you needed to leave within 33 days. That's the theory.
Correct. Yes.
And how long was the I-130 and the 485 pending?
Oh, not very long, to be honest. We submitted the application in January of this year, and we withdrew a few on July or so.
And how are things with the marriage?
They're actually a lot better, to be honest. A lot better. We're actively seeking a counselor. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to find one, right? Because it seems to me like everyone's booked up, right? But we keep calling people, but overall, a lot better. And by the way, we plan on reapplying for this adjustment status. And whenever we do that, I know that we're gonna have to do some explaining as to why we withdrew the application, right? And this is something that I whenever we reapply, I plan on submitting either like an invoice or a letter from the counseling stating like, hey, you know what, like we indeed seek some help, some marriage help.
Well, I think that withdrawing that case like that shot you to the top of the fraud list,
Uh-huh.
because people usually only would. I mean, it's interesting. You withdrew it because you wanted to make sure that everything was good and that the marriage was going to go the distance, but that they're not going to understand that. So, interesting. This is an interesting case. I think you'll probably want to do more than, I mean, first of all, I don't think that if you have DACA, that letter applies for you. Did you enter with inspection or did you?
I did enter with inspection.
Yeah. You know what you might do is send a letter to that field office outlining everything you just told me and sending them a copy of your DACA approval notice and say, hey, this thing says I have to leave within 33 days, but my understanding is that under DACA, I don't have to leave and that you are in error. And I sure as hell hope you don't send me to ICE because I have deferred action for childhood arrivals.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Okay, gotcha. No, sounds good. So I can just go ahead and send that to the local office then.
Mhm.
If I wanted to do that, is it pretty common that USCIS will like share my information with ICE to start deportation proceedings?
They're being encouraged to by their bosses. Yep. They're touting how much more they're doing it now than under Biden. They're putting out press releases like that.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay, no, understood.
Thanks for the call.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it, man.
Bye-bye. Manu got that book I recommended, The Road Less Traveled, on Saturday, started to read it. Manuel, I'll be very interested to let us know what you think. All right. Frida's asking to be let in. Frida, you have to come over to YouTube to talk to me. I don't take calls from TikTok. It's too, I can't run two things at once. So let's go to quick question, 751 waiver. Hello. Quick question. Are you there? Hello. Are you there? What's going on, everybody? What's going on in the comments? I see Nurse Laura holding forth. That's fun. All right, we'll come back. Let's go to RA. Hello, RA.
Hello, Jim. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I know you won't remember, but I was on 601, but I'm back.
Nice.
And let me just give you a really quick rundown. I think this will be a fairly short one.
Okay.
We submitted our I-130, 485, 864, 131, and 765
Nice.
back in August. We received notice on August 12th that it had been accepted on August 2nd of 2024.
Cool.
We had our biometric appointment on August 15th, and we received our I-765 Class C09 approval on August 16th. Then we received a 485 RFE on September 18th, and we got the notice that they received our response on September 30th of 2024.
What did they ask for?
You know what? I don't remember now.
Medical?
No, because we submitted that all at one time.
Taxes?
I think it was. I think it was something in regards to the tax transcript.
Okay.
So then we received the the 131 approval on December 31st, and we received the 512L on January 9th. So as of January, we were in good shape. So then we traveled back to Thailand on June 12th, or I should say my wife did, to visit a sick family member.
With the advanced parole.
Exactly correct.
Uh-huh.
At that time, she had a full medical treatment, or medical review for my wife, and she also renewed her passport because that was going to expire in January of 2026.
Okay.
So we did submit digitally some additional and unsolicited evidence for the I-130 on July 31st. Things like bank statements, lease agreements, driver's licenses, things that we had acquired since we first submitted on August 2nd of last year.
Sounds great.
Okay, so then, both she and I returned on August 27th of this year, and we're awaiting the I-130 and the I-485 interview and approval.
Cool.
So at that time, the online schedule said that there was about 1 week before the I-130 approval and 10 months for the I-485. But we just watch it. That's all.
Yeah.
So then the last 2 weeks, though, actually 3 weeks now, my wife's health has declined. And this is where we're getting into the situation. We're considering healthcare costs here, and we're considering returning to Thailand temporarily for some diagnosis and treatment. And the big question, we're also reconsidering as to whether our dream of obtaining citizenship and us living in the USA for the rest is achievable. So to that end, here's 3 things that we're considering, 3 options. One is just remaining in the US, dealing with the healthcare costs, and await the receipt of the green card, or actually the interview, and then hopefully the green card, after which we can have some short visits to Thailand for healthcare related issues. Second option, return to Thailand now for healthcare temporarily while awaiting notice for the interview and then returning. Or 3, just simply return to Thailand, no further plans to become a U.S. citizen, submit a formal letter to withdraw the I-45, and then submit an application at a future time for a visitor visa. My wife, she previously had a 10-year B1, B2, which expired May of 2025, and she had no issues while having that visa. So we're just not sure which of the options we're going to take, or if there's another option, and seeking your counsel on that.
So is your wife okay?
She's okay. It's an immunity problem, we believe.
Okay. Well, I'll say a little prayer for her. I hope everything goes okay medically.
Thanks, Jim.
If she was a U.S. citizen now, what would you do?
We'd probably make short visits back to, at least make one short visit back to Thailand for diagnosis and treatment, and then based upon what we found out, decide how long to stay there versus coming back. But at that point in time, unless it was something, we'll call it life-threatening,
Yeah.
We'd stay here.
Okay. And you mentioned the fact that she had a prior visit visa, and you mean she had a prior visit visa while you were actually married?
Oh yeah. She actually, after we got married, she applied and got a 1 year, and then after the 1 year, we got a 10-year.
What year did you get married?
2014.
And between 2014 and 2024, did you spend most of your time in the United States or most of your time in Thailand?
I'd say most of the time in Thailand. We'd spend 2 to 3 months a year in visiting friends and relatives.
And when you applied back in August last year, when had your wife last entered the United States?
Okay. She entered on May 6th of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's right after we talked to you.
Uh-huh. So we're good for immigrant intent. We waited the 60 days. We're okay there.
Correct.
I'm just wondering why your case is taking so long. If you were to have an interview, what field office would it be?
Charlotte, probably most likely Charlotte.
I think, did you say that earlier? I'm sorry.
No, not.
Yeah. I mean, so we're at 16 months or 14 months.
Yeah, exactly. We're just right on the cusp. And in fact, when we went back, she went back in June, I went back in July to Thailand. We were kind of edging, saying, well, we're probably going to get that interview.
Yeah.
But
almost like leaving the United States would guarantee its arrival.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Well, and Jim, this is going to sound crazy, but when on July 31st, when I submitted the unsolicited additional digital information,
yeah,
somebody else on your show also mentioned this, or on the postings, that as soon as they did that, we saw the I-130 change from months to like 5 weeks, and then it went down to 4 weeks. Every week it went down 1 week until 2 or 3 weeks. And now what it displays is your case is taking longer.
Yeah. So, me, I'm the immigration attorney. I'm not the doctor. I'm not the life coach. I'm just the immigration lawyer. So from an immigration standpoint, my brother, you've put a lot into this. You've put 14 months of waiting, spent a lot of money, paid for advanced parole, paid for a work card, paid all the filing fees. I'd be very surprised if you don't have a green card interview and decision by November. December.
Right.
So if you could say to yourselves, we're going to hold out until December and then reassess as to whether or not we should, or which of those three options that you outlined.
Right.
That's what I would advocate for. Let's chill. Maybe let's send a letter to USCIS saying, hurry the F up.
Okay.
Maybe to the field. Do you know right now if your case is at the field office or is it still the service center, as far as you know?
How would I tell? I'm unsure.
You would have probably gotten a notice that it's in Charlotte.
Oh, I have received no notice.
Okay. So yeah, I'd say let's sit tight till November 1st and reassess.
Okay.
And I promise I'll try to remember you when you call back after November 1st.
No problem. No problem.
Reason that there's two reasons why I'm advocating this. Number one is you've really put a lot into this, and I think that if you get that green card, that you could, if she gets her green card, you could come and, I mean, watching the show that I've been telling people not to travel, but you have special reasons for traveling.
Correct.
But once she gets that green card, she's going to be in a whole lot better position than those other options that you outlined.
Correct.
And the other thing is, you are correct that she was able to enter the United States with a B1, B2 visitor visa as the spouse of a U.S. citizen. But the one thing that has changed is she has filed for adjustment of status. She has demonstrated that at least at some point she had immigrant intent, and you can't unring that bell. So I do think there's a chance that if you go those last two routes and don't get her the green card now, that there might come a time where they don't give her a visit visa anymore or don't let her in anymore.
Completely understand. Completely understand.
Yeah.
I think there was one thing that you had mentioned that, no, and I think that's my understanding, and I agree with you in that there's been a lot of investment.
Yeah, and maybe the online portal is accurate that now that you've given them updated evidence, it's coming fast. So I would just sit tight, because I think I haven't heard of anybody lately taking 14 months. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Cases that have been filed in the last 6 months are certainly not taking that long. There's some older cases that are taking that long, but you're right at the outer limits of what's reasonable.
Correct.
And I would say that if you don't have anything by November 1st, call me back, and then maybe we'll sue them or threaten to sue them.
Okay. And I just remembered, in regards to sending a letter, since we have not received a notice that I'm aware of concerning it being assigned to the Charlotte office,
Yeah.
As far as writing a letter, there's really not any use in that at this point.
I'd send it to the service center that has her I-130 or 45, and I would CC the field office.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
Very good. Thanks so much, Jim.
Good luck to you and your wife.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is James O. Hacking III. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and Chicago, Illinois. Our Chicago, Illinois office is heating up. Also, I wanted to tell you guys, Amani called me. She was going to give a talk to the Muslim students at Washington University. She said that she filed a NATS case 3 weeks ago, and their interview notice came today, and it's in 2 weeks. So that's 5 weeks start to finish. These MFers at USCIS are going really fast on a lot of cases. So y'all better be ready. Better be ready for that naturalization test. Better be ready for that interview. Also, don't forget, October 20th is when the new test goes into effect. October 20th is when the new test goes into effect. So you want to apply. If you are eligible to apply for citizenship, and we have the phone ringing crazy from people who should have applied for citizenship a long time ago. If you're eligible and you can apply before October 20th, do it. Then you get to take the 2008 test, which is you have to get 6 right out of 10, and they give you a book of 100 to study, versus the new test, which will be 128 questions to study, many of which are harder. And then you have to get 12 right out of 20. So when that new test comes out, I think we're going to go make a video and ask everyday Americans the new harder questions and see how they do. You know, those videos always do well on social media, like where they ask people, name one state that borders Canada, and they're like, Tennessee. Those are always funny. So we're probably going to go out and try to do some of those. I think I have a mic for my cell phone. We'll do it with that, but we need to get doing on those. Those are always good. Like Jay Leno. I think Jay Leno started those. Those are very funny, even though I don't like Jay Leno anymore. All right, JH. Oh, no, that's probably Huli. Is that Huli? Huli, is that you?
No.
Hi. Oh, good.
Hi.
We're always confused because there's Jim Hacking, JH, and there's Julia Hollick, which is JH. So,
Okay.
So you're on, JH. What's up?
Hey, Jim. How are you? Thanks for having me. All right. So I am from Jamaica. I had entered the U.S. on a B1, B2 visa in May. I got engaged to a US citizen in January. We've been dating back and forth. I've been traveling back and forth for a while. And so I came in May. Our intention was to get married in Jamaica for 2026. But when I came in May, we decided we didn't want to wait again. And so we got married. We filed the I-30 in July and the I-485 in August. And then did the biometrics because that was scheduled, and we have the medical. Now, my question is, if I need to travel back to Jamaica for any reason before the entire process is completed, would I be able to travel back on my B1, B2 visa, or is that done for now because I filed the...
That's done now. That's done now. So once you file for the 485,
Right.
if you leave, it's deemed abandoned and you lose that 1440 and you got to start over and
Do the whole process. Okay.
Hold on. You can apply for something called advanced parole, but you'll probably get your green card without ever getting it. So I wouldn't waste that money.
All right. Okay. So then the next question is, this has been just a real concern of mine. I don't want to be out of status, which comes like in October, like to say like I overstayed, but is that really a concern if I just need to wait to get some sort of approval from them regarding the I-30 or the I-485?
Your spouse is a U.S. citizen?
Yes, he is.
Your last entry was?
In May.
And you filed?
We filed the I-30 in July and the I-485 in August.
Was the I-130 filed more than 60 days after you arrived or less?
Less.
That's not good. Why did you file them separately?
I think it was just the monetary value of the two filing.
When you entered the United States, were you married or single?
No, I was single.
Okay, so you entered in May. When did you get married?
We got married literally like the end of May because it was just impromptu. We planned to have like an official thing in 2026 in Jamaica, but then we just decided to not have to do the back and forth because we've been doing that for a while.
Okay, so you're going to need a lawyer. You're going to need help because you've created a huge problem for yourself.
Okay.
You have, well, in their mind, you have jumped the line and that you should have waited. Like if you had come to us and we would have, it's ideally you would have waited 60 days after you landed to get married or do anything towards the green card. The fact that you got married and filed the I-130 before 60 days were up is going to cause you a big problem at your interview. So okay. You're going to have your whole case just became, how do we prove that this was a spontaneous thing that we did because we're sort of nutty versus this was our evil plan when I was sitting in Jamaica. So the fact that you've come and gone a lot, that helped. The fact that you didn't get married on the very first day, that helps. But they're going to grill you pretty hard on this marital intent issue, and hopefully they won't hit you with a misrepresentation, because if they do that, then you're going to need a waiver, and it's going to be a lot more expensive and a lot more of a headache and a lot more stressful.
Okay, so then you would so I just need to just continue to wait until we get some sort of acknowledgement from them of an interview and everything, and then probably go in with a lawyer to just explain everything.
Yeah, the one thing that you might spend some time doing is building up the argument that you didn't know about the rule, or that wasn't your intention to jump the line. So, like I would make sure to have all the records of all my entries and exits that I always left on time.
Right.
I
submitted all of that.
I got one question for you. It's really going to probably change. It's probably going to help or hurt a lot. Are you ready?
Okay.
When you came to America this time, did you have a one-way ticket or a round trip?
I had a round trip.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And
I did. Because the intention was to leave. Because I initially came in February and I left. Because again, I've been traveling back and forth. He's been traveling back and forth to see each other. Yep. So when I came again in May, I had a round trip ticket. Then we just kind of did the crazy and we got married. And then I had just extended the trip. And then I wanted to leave but we ended up filing. And so now my concern is that my end of the 6-month period is in October. So I was wondering, should I leave and go back to Jamaica, or should I stay? Everyone has been saying to stay and not go.
I know I probably asked you this before, but your spouse is a U.S. citizen, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I would probably stay. The other thing so I would spend all my time thinking about how do I prove that this was a short, thought out plan versus an evil long-term plan. And so to that end, if you left stuff back in Jamaica, if you had a job back in Jamaica that you quit from here, all those kinds of things, that would all help your lawyer when the time comes.
I currently still work with a Jamaican company. The thing, I just work long distance.
Okay.
And so this is why I wanted to know if I needed to go back for any reason. Like, there's a reason for November, but they're saying if I can't make it back, that's okay. I can do what I need to do from overseas.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to know if I needed to go back for any reason, would I have any challenges going back on my B1, B2 visa? And you're saying, yes, don't leave.
And yeah, because you lose your green card, and you could apply for advanced parole, but you'll probably have your green card before you get advanced parole. So I wouldn't waste time with that.
All right. My final question then to you is, what if I wanted to work in the US? Should I wait until everything is approved to file for, well, I wouldn't need to file if everything is approved because I'd get a social security number. But what if I didn't want to wait for that? Should I file the form I-765 or should I just not?
Well, you should have filed it when you originally filed it, because if you file it with the original application, it's only $260. If you wait like you did, then it's another $260. It's $520. So you should have done that. But once you get your green card, then you'll have the ability to work in the United States. So I don't know that I would. The green card cases are going fast, so I might just sit tight and wait to get my green card.
Okay. And I know you can't say about the time process, but based on what I've told you, I mean, after I submit the medical, which I'm doing this Saturday, is there any idea of how long it would take?
What field office?
The field, I think it's Chicago.
Oh, yeah. They move pretty fast. So I would say probably by the end of the year.
Okay. All right, Jim. I believe those are all my questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let us know if you need help with that interview.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Young gal can cook. Fellow Yardie says hire Jim. I think that's good advice. I think that's always good advice. Wouldn't that be unauthorized work? Yes, that is unauthorized work. So she'll have to be careful how she answers her questions. Good question, Tarkovsky. I like that. All right. What was I going to say? I don't know. Let's go to other Beth. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Jim.
Hello, Beth. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I came here through a K1 visa since 2006. And I married my petitioner and never applied my status. And now my husband is deceased.
Oh, man. Wait. So I'm sorry to hear that about your husband.
Thank you.
So you're telling me in 19 years ago, you came to the United States on a K1 visa and never filed for adjustment?
No, my husband didn't help me doing it.
He wouldn't? Like he refused?
Yeah, at first 2 years, I asked him that we apply my green card, but he said he would have me deported. And so after that, I never asked him anymore. So like I'm just waiting for him to like do it naturally.
Yeah.
Like willingly to do it, but he never did until he got diagnosed with a kidney failure.
When did he pass away?
7 months ago, February.
I'm very sorry.
And so I'm here, like stuck or what. So I need help to get my green card and stuff like that. So what's my chance to apply for a green card as a widow?
So it's an interesting legal question to which I don't know the answer because I've never had this happen before. Because on the one hand, I think you know from the way that you framed your questions that someone who comes on a K-1 can only get a green card through that relationship, right? You can't like get a work green card or some other green card or even marrying somebody else, right? The question I don't know the answer to is, can someone who comes on a K-1 get a green card through the I-360 as the widow of a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
And that's a very interesting legal question of which I'd really like to know the answer. So if you will email me info@hackingimmigration.com and say I'm the other Beth that was on the show at the 120 mark on Monday, I will try to figure out the answer.
Monday?
No, you can email us today. Yeah.
Okay.
Info@hackingimmigration.com. Email us today, and I will give me a couple days to do some checking to see. I could see it going either way, so I just don't know the answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess that's it. I'm just gonna contact you. I just need a like really good lawyer.
Of course. Yeah, send it over. We'll do our checking.
Okay.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you so much.
I really don't like it when people hold their spouse's immigration status over their head. It really sucks. Jesus Christ, 19, she could be a citizen a long time ago. Guido, hello. Guido, you're on mute.
Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for taking my question. I appreciate it. I have an unexpired green card dating back to 1986. I've been in country for 31 years. I have been traveling back and forward. I'm originally from Italy. I went with my wife back in May to the Dominican Republic, came back. I just came back now from a trip to Italy, no problems at all.
Okay.
Like I said, an expired credit card, resident card. So before I left for Italy, I went online and I talked to an agent who identified herself with a name and a G and then a number, a code number. And I asked her specifically, my card is unexpired. Are these kind of cards still valid? She said yes. So far, so good. Everything is fine. I'm enjoying my permanent residency. I pay taxes. Now, I applied for, here comes my question. I have applied for my Real ID driver license renewal about a month ago. And I submitted my application. I paid my fees. When I came back from Italy, I had a letter in the mail that froze my blood. It's a letter from the Missouri Department of Revenue that says, based on the response from the SAVE program, the Department of Revenue has canceled your application due to your immigration status. So here began my quest for answers. And I am absolutely lost. I tried to contact SAVE. SAVE said back to me, sorry, we only deal with government agencies. Okay. Then I tried to contact back the DMV. And I said, did you enter something wrong? They refer me to a phone number, CIB, Crime Investigation Bureau in Jeff City. I called that number. I spoke to a lovely lady, the first person that was really helpful. And she basically says, I know nothing about your case. Okay, back to square one. I contacted USCIS, but I cannot get any answers because I do not have a case number that begins with 3 letters. So I've been going crazy trying to figure out what's going on with my immigration status. Who do I contact? How do I get a case number from USCIS? That is my question for you.
How much time have you spent on this?
Oh, I'm sorry, abroad?
No. How much time have you spent trying to track down get your license the way you want it?
Oh, like about less than a week. It came in when I came back from Italy last Sunday, not this Sunday, the Sunday before. The letter was in the mail maybe Tuesday. And I've been in hell, or should I say limbo, since then, trying to find answers.
Why haven't you applied for citizenship?
That's a good question. There is no specific answer to that. I am feeling very cozy, love this country, consider myself American. I guess laziness maybe, or now the new cost of application. In other words, I felt safe and protected. There is no nationalistic agenda behind me. It's not. As a matter of fact, when I do become an American citizen, when I apply, I will cancel my Italian citizenship. So it's not even a matter of I'm proud to be Italian. So
I think what I would say, here's how I would frame it, Guido. Okay, you ready?
yes.
So I think that you're right, and that you could stay in the United States for the rest of your life with the old school unexpiring green card that you have, right?
Yeah.
But, and the law says that you can do that. And you live in a red state where they hate immigrants. You're in my state of Missouri.
Yeah.
And they want to make life hard on immigrants any way that they can.
Oh, they're doing a good job, let me tell you.
Yes, they are. So one of the ways that even while it is true that you don't have to get a new green card, there are costs associated with not getting a new green card. And one of the costs is an easy one based on what you said, and that is that you don't have any kind of receipt number for a new green card. You don't have the 3-digit, start of the service center that's handling your case. So I would say that if I were you and I wanted to make my life easier and I wanted a real ID and I wanted global entry or whatever it was, I would go ahead and either get myself a new green card, or if I'm going to spend that much money to get a green card, I might as well spend a little bit more and give me my citizenship so that I'm done with these fools.
Sure thing. But the problem, and this is my problem and nobody else's, my driver license expires October 11th.
Yeah.
And my question is, how long will it take before I'll be able to get a driver license? And do I have any recourse? I mean, I understand your point, and I will apply for a new green card. But right now, because my driver license expires, and it's not a matter of life or death, but for heaven's sake, I do make some little money by doing deliveries to companies. And obviously, I won't be able to do that starting October 11th.
As I mentioned, we just filed the green card application, and they have their interview in 5 weeks after filing. So I would say you're probably going to get your citizenship pretty quickly. You could do both. You could file the I-90. What you could do is you could file the I-90. Let's say you don't want to do citizenship. You could file the I-90. Then when you get your receipt notice, you could call USCIS and say, I need to make an InfoPass appointment. The state of Missouri.
How do I contact them for? Because there is nothing that allows me to talk to them unless I have a 3-digit number of case, whatever. So even if I told them, hey, I've applied, will that be in the application, my 3-digit?
When you get the receipt back, it will.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I would say if you had all the money in the world and things were, and you wanted to do everything possible, it's file an I-90, get the receipt notice, file the N-400, take your I-90 receipt notice down to the field office and get a stamp in your passport. They'll extend your green card status in your passport. They'll give you an I-551 stamp, and the driver's license bureau should take that as proof. Or you could just say to myself, I'm just going to go around without, I would never tell people this, but you could go around without a driver's license till you get your citizenship or your green card.
But the problem with that is, I looked it up online, that if I was to get stopped by the police and I tell them my pitiful story, in theory, I could get a Class D misdemeanor by a judge, and that would not go well with my application.
Yeah, a traffic ticket, but yeah.
Okay, but there is absolutely nothing, Jim, thank you so much. I will pursue the I-90 path first.
Yeah,
but
sure.
There is absolutely nothing that I can do to ask somebody what is the change. In other words, ask somebody for reasons why I was denied. Nobody knows except God.
Here's what I would say about that. I say to people all the time, would you rather be happy or right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So do you really want to spend the next 2 or 3 weeks trying to find some bureaucrat at the Missouri Department of Revenue to say, oh, you're right, Guido, we should have given you a driver's license? They're not. That's never going to happen.
Reality check on aisle 1.
Yep.
So, okay, that is almost Nazi-like approach. That
there's lots of things they're doing that's Nazi-like. I don't know if that. I mean,
I'm sure that there are worse cases. Oh, please, I didn't mean to disrespect people that suffer much more than I do. Sorry.
No, I gotcha. It's all good. Thanks. Let us know how it goes. Bye, Guido.
Thank you. So.
Yep. Yeah. Here's the basics. TNT's got it. If you live in a red state, it's difficult to get the new Real ID. That's right. That's right. And MH Luna says I'd rather be happy than right. That's right. So, like, sometimes my sister, who has a little bit of a fiery streak, she'll be all bent out of shape about something, and I'll say, Molly or Carrie, because they both do it. Molly or Carrie, man, why do you want to be so mad? Why not just do this? And they're like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. So it's almost like the jujitsu of throwing crazy people past you so that you can stay centered. Speaking of, I'm reading a lot of some John Maxwell lately, and I was reading about an analogy for the work that we do to stay centered in the morning, and to think of a big wagon wheel. So, like whenever you watch a Western, they have those stagecoaches and they have those big old wagon wheels. And the author was talking about how if you're at the center of the wagon, you do, life does move and you get twisted around. But if you're way out on the outside of the wagon, then you're going through a whole lot more emotion and motion, and things are hard. So try to stay towards the center of the circle, the center of the wheel, and centered in that wheel, because then things go on around you. And I've been playing with that metaphor for about 2 weeks, and I really like it. Glenn says, Jim, some people would rather be right. Well, Glenn, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. And we're almost out of time. Oh, we are out of time. Someone called me the other day. What was it? Oh, I know what it was. Somebody wanted me to, they were talking about, someone wanted me to take on this big case, and they were saying it's about the principle of the thing. It's not about, I don't care if I get this benefit. I just want to prove that they're wrong. And like, you can never make those people happy. You can never make those people happy. So I'm a big believer in asking the question, at least, Glenn, would you rather be right or happy? But Glenn is right. There are a lot of people who just want to be right. All right. That was today's show. We had a whole lot of people watching on both YouTube and TikTok. We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe my friend Skyla will be here, or my friend Huli will be here. Tomorrow, I'm flying to Kansas City. I'm not going to do the show at 3 tomorrow. I'll do the show, let's say, what time does that land? That lands at 2:20. Let's say tomorrow's show we'll do at 4:30, maybe a little bit earlier, but we'll do the show tomorrow at 4:30 Central. And then Wednesday, I think we're going to have a late night show on Wednesday. So tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Central, and then Immigration Answer Show after dark on Wednesday. Oh, look at Skyla. Fix that shit up fast. 4:30 Central tomorrow, episode 914. Bring us your questions. Remember, if you want to ask me a question, you want to come on the show and ask me a question, text the word show to 314-470-3300. 314-470-3300. You can ask me a question. You can talk to me as long as it takes, because I talk to everybody for as long as it takes, unless they're nuts or named Shabazz. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Great week. Great start to your week. And we will see you mañana. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease.